What I'm going to do, I was going to just chuck it, and I thought, no, I'll change the old malt pot. I'll swap it over, and we'll get it happening again. What a disaster. Even though I've taken it out, and it's just sitting in a bucket, that's just not draining. Always, when you try to record a quick brew day, something like this happens. Alright, so I've taken everything out. I've emptied what wood I could into a bucket, which isn't very much. The other stuff's in that bucket still, that pan I showed you before. Put the bottom in. I'm going to put old Trusty in. This isn't going to be much fun. Now I had turned the elements off. I'm going to pour the bucket that's in the bucket through, just so there's some, make sure there's liquid on the bottom. And this is going to be the hard part, getting the grain in. It's not going to fit. It's going to be quite slow at first. I might be able to pick it up later, but we still haven't even drained. Oh my god. Alright. Here we go. One pot at a time. This is going to be an interesting brew. Far out, I'm getting grain everywhere. Now I've got some liquid in the bottom. I'm going to just put the bottom element on. This still hasn't drained through. Oh, so bad. All over me clock. There goes me nice clean bloody Robobrew. Freaking grain everywhere. What a disaster. Bloody grain everywhere and wood. Oh. Aftermath. Wort, grain, and I've cleaned up the side of the Robobrew, but we're in. Alright, let's get this pump going and see what happens now. Alright, so we're in. I think we've lost, I don't know how much we've lost. Let's get this pump on. Back it off a bit again. Something like that. It's now, the bash is probably finished. It's 10:30. Excuse the grain. I was sneakily using this clock. Have to clean it up before my wife gets home. Grain stuck in it. But as you can see, the pump's going and we're not filling up. We're getting good drainage. It's going to be interesting to see what we get out of this. I'm expecting 1048. Well, Beersmith says 1048. Lately at the moment, I've been coming up 2 points, at least 2 points up on 1048. So I'll be expecting 1050. That's after the boil. Now there's a reason I do that. I'm using the Beer Smith profile that that I've given out to everybody. There's a reason for that. I'm using the Beer Smith program I give out to everybody, unadjusted, just exactly the same. But some people have a different crush, maybe not as fine or whatever. And when you're a beginner or starting out, you mightn't get quite as much efficiency as I do. So, yeah, you can actually expect from my profile, if you get the same efficiency as I do, to get about 1 to 2 points to 3 points sometimes above what it says. You'll find that in most books and websites that the efficiency they list for their recipes is quite low, and you'll often get higher than what they list. Right, I have no idea what the temperature is going to be. It's 10:35 now. We're coming out of the pump at 60. Can you see that? It's in the way. It's only saying 62. I should imagine we've lost some heat. And we're only about 59 in the mash. You'd expect that after all the shit that all the stuff I've just done to it. But we're getting nice flow. We're not clogged. I'm going to turn this up, the pump right up for a little while, since I know we're not clogged anymore. And just to get some flow through this grain bed. Who knows what this beer's going to turn out like. What a disaster. I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be fine though. It's just going to be a bit thinner in body than what I expected. But it's an IPA, so it probably suits it. Yeah, we're filling up a bit now, but I have got the pub on flat chat. Oh, flat chat. So it's time to back that off. I might even turn it off for a second, let that seep through. But you'll see now that it'll probably drain much quicker. Where are we? 37, 10:37. And it's not even 10:38 yet. I don't know if you can see it, but we're just about drained through again. I'll turn the pump back on. I'm going to turn it down there. Now I'm just going to leave this be for the next. Turn the pump right down. I'm just going to leave this be for another 15-20 minutes. And see what happens. We're getting back up there fairly quick. Oh, that's probably upside down for you, but we're at 62. So we're back in mash range. Come back just to check. And it's, what's that? 7 minutes to 11. But I don't know if you can see. I've just left the pump going. I've had a nice bit of flow. The wort's finally starting to clear up. It was nice and clear on top then before I mixed it all up, and that's what I like to see. Nice clear wort that's obviously been filtering through the grain bed. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer because I need to eat. This was supposed to be a quick brew day. I need to have breakfast. I'm just going to have breakfast, come back, and then we'll mash out. I should check the temp, shouldn't I? Because we were very low. And where are we? 63, 65, 66, 60, about 66. I don't know if you can see that, it's upside down. 66. So we're back to temp. And the wort's clearing. Alright, I've had me breakfast. There's no food, is there? Alright, this is looking really nice. It's actually now just after 11:15, so it's been an hour and 15 minutes in the mash. I normally only go an hour. I've got to pick up this screen. I keep standing on it. We'll have a quick look. Can you see that? It's now beautiful and clear. If you can pick that up. Oh, it was clear on top of there again until I just messed it up. But that's the sort of thing I want. And look, I could have got away with doing the mash in the other and leaving it there and just letting it go down the overflow pipe like some people do. And it would have kept temp fairly well. But if I had been doing a step mash and relying on it to get not only the wort and the readings on the screen the right temperature, but actually the middle of the mash, it won't happen without a good flow. It won't happen easily. There'll be very, very slow steps. And it's very possible that you'll just get that little bit of wort because there's not much going through the grain bed and just most of it going down the overflow and down to the elements and then straight back up and then straight back down the overflow again. And then your timer, your machine will think it's at your step temp of whatever, 67 or something. And so start your timer and you might only be there for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something. And then it'll move on to the next step without the actual grain in the middle getting to that temp. That's why I like flow through the grain bed, and I like that even when I'm not step mashing. So I just wanted to mention that. I still could have got away with this brew. I know a lot of people say, oh, you should have just left it, it'll be fine. And especially since I'm not step mashing. But I just like that flow through the grain bed. And we're at temp, which is good. So I'm going to go into mash out. Now I usually add a litre of boiled water to help it to mash out, to go fast. Today I'm not going to, even though I am in a hurry. I'm going to up my temp. Oops, got to pause it, don't I? Pause it. Temp. Oh, about 76 will do. It's now 11:35. That didn't take long, and we're at the 76. I'm just going to get a few things organised, leave it there for 5 or 10 minutes. Be right to go. Anyway, here we go. Nice clear wort. This hose is still a bit long, I should have cut it off. But anyway, I'm going to pull the basket. I'm going to pull the basket. Let's just hope the old basket sits on the right spot in the new Robobrew. Turn me pump off. If the old basket doesn't sit there, I'm in big trouble. Well, the old handle works. There you go. Fine. Now, I'm not sure about the measurements on this, so I'm just going to sparge, because I've been sparging to the max mark and not measuring my sparge water. But I'm going to try, I mashed in with 17 litres, I'm going to sparge with about 16 litres and just see where we end up. I'll use this old colander. Oh, I don't know if it's going to sit there. Sparging nice and fast, a bit too fast, I can't keep up. I should fly sparge. You want to try and leave water over the grain bed. Oh, I've caught up, that's good. You want about an inch or two above the grain bed. It's also a good idea when you're sparging to turn up to your boil temp, so that way it's quicker to get to boil once you're there, once you're ready. Okay, that's my 16 litres. We'll see where we end up. Still draining through, but we're getting close. You probably can't see on here. Quick tip, it's handy to have one of these 19 litre pots from Big W, because the basket pulls in. When you pull it, you can put it in here. There's still a little bit draining out of that, but I'm going to pull it anyway. I think I've got enough. I probably could have drained a little bit more, but we'll see how we go. I don't know what that is, probably 29 litres. Maybe a bit under. Probably should let it drain a bit more. But that'll do. And when I'm coming up to boil, I like to have the pump on and filter the wort a bit more, especially after the troubles I went through today. But you really don't want the pump on when you're boiling, because you'll start pulling bubbles through your pump, and bubbles through pumps aren't good. Now this will be interesting. If you can see it, I haven't really pulled out much chit, as it's called, even though I thought I would because of all that mucking around with grain. It's pretty good. There's hardly any been filtered out. I haven't changed that or anything. That's great. Anyway, I've got to cool it down first. We'll take some wort. Probably not enough. I'll just get a little more on that. Careful doing this because it does squirt out if you don't squeeze the end. Cool that down. Doesn't matter if you've got temperature controlled, automatic temperature compensated refractometers, they don't work properly when your wort's 100 degrees. If you have a look in the instructions, it'll probably say automatic temperature correction 0 to 30 degrees. So you need to cool it down. And if you cool it down fast, you don't get any evaporation. If you let it sit on the bench, you'll get a lot of evaporation. And I see some people they'll go, oh, my pre-boil was this, and then it was really, really high, but then my post-boil wasn't, and that's usually because of that. Your little bit of your sample evaporates a lot of water because it's really hot as it's cooling down, and gives you a false reading. See, that'll be cool now. Oh God, it was supposed, what did I say? I think it's supposed to be 10:43 and go to 10:48, but I'm usually a couple of points ahead. I don't know if I will be today. So I'm expecting 10:45-ish. Let's see, eh? But after all those dramas, oh, 10:46. I don't know if it's going to work this way. Anyway, I didn't expect that. So that's good. 10:46, 10:49. Yeah, we'll be close to the 10:50. As I said, we're supposed to be 48, but I usually get about 2 points ahead. 10:50. We might even get to 51. Now, because of all this stuff around, I'm thinking the best thing to do with a beer that you totally stuff up and you'll never be able to brew again the same is to enter it in a competition. Now, Merry Mashers IPA competition's coming up soon. Oh, it's in about 2 weeks. 3 weeks. I might be pushing it, and I also might have to add some sugar just to bump this up a little bit, just to get it to the right booze level for an IPA competition. Just like 200 grams or something to do it. We'll see how we go, eh? I have 14 grams of Magnum. That's just going to go in a hot basket. And I have a clamp. I'm just going to clamp that to the side. Actually, that's not what I use. What do I usually use these days? Something better than that clamp. This bulldog clip is a bit stronger. Now, if you're going to use one of these baskets, I really like them, especially for the 60-minute ones. Some brews You get a lot of proteins in the boil. And if you just give it a shake like that, 5 or 10, you know, every 10 minutes just to check, and you make sure the mesh hasn't blocked. But I mean, after about bloody 10 minutes, all those oils are in the wort anyway, and you could probably even physically take the hops out and you'd be fine, but we'll talk about that another time. People worry because they don't see boiling in there. That is absolutely nothing to worry about. It is boiling down there, and that's where the hops are. This is the plan. Like I said before, since I stuffed this up, I'm going to put it into competition and see how it goes. It's an experiment. And because of that, it's an IPA competition. Mine would have come out about 5-ish%, because that's what I like, just over. Probably 5.1 or something. I'm just going to add 200 grams of sugar. That should bump it up and be much closer to a proper IPA. They're supposed to be about 55 or something, 10.55, maybe even more. But this will get it closer to a real IPA. Just 200 grams of sugar. Don't be scared of sugar. Any brewers tell you not to use sugar. They should go and do their homework. It's fine to use a little bit of sugar. You won't get any cidery flavours or anything from it. That's a load of rubbish. Now this is a really good way to do it. I have pre-warmed this saucepan up with some hot water so I don't lose too much heat. This is so the sugar doesn't burn onto the bottom of the elements. You could add it after, but I'm going to add it now. Take some hot wort out. I put the towel down so this holds a bit more heat than the concrete would. Add your sugar in there. Dissolve it. That's mostly dissolved now. And then pour that back in. Quite dissolved, a little bit more, something like that. It's about 10 minutes left of the boil. Now for my whirlpool hops, I use a bag. Mainly because I'm using a lot of hops, using about 80 grams in this for the whirlpool. And I'll get a little bit more circulation through this than I will the hop basket I've been using during the whole boil. So what I'll do, I'll just put this in. It's about 10 minutes left of the boil, just to, you know, sanitize a bit. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I just use it straight in the whirlpool, since it's going to be in the hot wort for 10 minutes anyway. But to keep some people happy, I'll put it in now just to sanitize it a bit. And I'm going to take this out in a minute. Whatever hops are in that for your 60-minute, they've done their job. Their oils are in the wort and it's still isomerizing or getting bitter, or if there's any bitterness left in them. So I'll take this out now and get it out of the way. You can squeeze them out if you want. If you've got a spoon, you can push down and squeeze them out. There's not much hops in there this time, I'm not going to bother. It's only 14 grams. Usually I go less. 12 grams for this sort of brew, but because I upped the alcohol a little bit, I thought I'd up the bitterness a little bit. I'll get rid of that. And you missed it, but I added some Werflock and some PPVP. But that's nothing to see. So let this go another 10 minutes. And we'll chuck the whirlpool hops in. Let it whirlpool for 10 minutes. Then we'll chill it. We're at the end of the boil now. I'll turn the elements off. Make sure they're off. I'm just going to tuck this out of the way for a second. Hold tight. I'm going to get this bag and I'm going to go right over like that. Oh, just for a second. 40 grams of Simcoe, 40 grams of Citra. Just Just going to shake that up a little bit, help them loosen up. Put that back on. Grab a lid, whack my lid on. I'm going to whack that pot into that bag. I'm going to turn the pump on for just 5 minutes of the steep, whirlpool steep, just to make sure, God, you can smell it, and let that go. And then I'm going to turn it off for the last 5 minutes of the steep, just to let it settle, like down the bottom, and trying to get the worth and things to try and do a little bit of the job. And we'll see how we go. I'll just get a little bit of foil, I usually do, because I'm paranoid about bugs and things getting in, and put it around the edge there. I'll turn it off now. Like, it's not a traditional whirlpool, as in whirlpooling to make a cone in the middle, because that's just not going to happen with the bag in there or anything. But you can see it circulating around in there, in the hops. So now I'm going to turn the pump off, let it settle for 5 minutes, chill. I'm going to use my plate chiller, like I've shown you in other videos, in the Robobrew fast chilling video. But if you weren't, you could possibly leave this for a little bit longer, maybe a 15-minute steep. See, I didn't chill it first because I'm trying to get bitterness out of it as well as flavour. Because it's a long story, but it's the way I designed this recipe. Yeah, so I'm just going to go for it. Otherwise, if you didn't have one of these plate chillers, you'd pull that bag and you know, stick your immersion in and go for it. What a day, I haven't even a bag fall in. It's never happened before. Ah, Jesus. Anyway, we'll just check my volumes since we're done. If I can see it. 25, just under 23 litres. How did we manage that, eh? There you go. Just about perfect. Alright, so we're done. Best thing about the plate chiller, I can pitch the yeast directly. It's still a bit warm. Our groundwater's warm. It's just in the about 25 probably. I've already pitched my yeast. And it's 10 to 2. When did we mash in? I think it was 10 o'clock. So even with all that trouble, we've done pretty well. Holy crap. I wouldn't wish that brew day on anybody. But anyway, let's take a little reading. There's still a bit of wort in the chiller. Alright. I sort of have no idea. I was guessing at 48. I mean, my Beer Smith 48 usually means 50, 51. Just because of the way I explained I had it set up. I added a few 100 grams of sugar, which would have raised it another couple of points. So, ooh, if we get to 55, we're going to be lucky, I reckon. I don't know if this is a very good sample. It's a bit murky from the depths of the fermenter and chiller. 56. 56. There's the sample. It was from the very bottom, that's why there's a lot of Werflocky stuff, but you can see it's clearing up beautiful at the top. It's probably not, there's going to be too much junk in there for me to throw the hydrometer in there. I just rescued that out of the chiller. That'll settle down more too, so there's at least 100 ml there. And that's settled down just in that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it's been. Aha, sorted one out. And I haven't been waiting around or anything. Still only just after 2. But let's take a reading. I only do this because often at higher numbers, my refrac and hydrometer read different. Hang on, there we go. Oh, it's saying at least 56. Could be 57. Well, that was a brew day from hell. Actually, that's a good name for the video. The brew day from hell. Holy moly. Anyway, I wasn't going to have a beer, but I am now. Cheers. This is from the same malt bill. Nearly the same hops. Although this one had coriander. Probably looks better with the sun behind it. There you go. This one had coriander and orange in it for a bit of an experiment. And anyway, cheers, I need it. I wasn't going to have one. Bloody hell, lucky I wasn't drinking. Don't drink on your brew days. That would never have worked out. Cheers. It's getting a bit these days. This one's probably a month or so old, a bit longer. While there's plenty of flavour still there. A lot of that late burst hopping type stuff doesn't last as long. But it just, nothing tastes like it. Anyway, there we go. I think I showed it before. I did show it before. There we go. Now, because as long as it doesn't get infected or anything and it tastes alright, it's because it's such a crappy brew day. I said I'll put it in a competition. I might try and get it in Merry Mashers. Now, because I'm about 57, I think you've got to be 58 to be in IPAs. So I might chuck another 50 grams worth of sugar in there. That's all it'll take during the ferment. And it's going to be right at the bottom of the scale, because you know everyone pushes the boundaries in competitions, as you should, to stand out. But we'll chuck it in. And it's not to win, because it was a blast of a brew day, but just to see if they've can pick up any of the things that went wrong. See if there's any astringency from all the grain that ended up in the wort. It might dry right out, because half of it might have been, even though most of the mash would have been done in that first 15 minutes. But after that, when it cooled down to like under 60 degrees, who knows what's happened. Not much else could have gone wrong. What I think did go wrong, and I didn't take footage of it, but when I cleaned this, and you can see the bend in it, I should have straightened it. I thought it was straight when I put it in. Maybe it was the heat. But there was a lot of grain between the two meshes. My theory is that, when the other weight was on top and that grain was squashed between those meshes, that's why it blocked it. And I couldn't get any flow through. As I said before, I could have kept the mash going and just let it all go down the overflow pipe. But if I was ever trying to step mash, or even the mash out without stirring it, the middle of that mash would never have hit those temps. The water would have first, because it would have just been going around and around from the, down the pipe, back to the pump and up the top, and the Robobrew would have thought it was at a certain degree. But there's no way the mash would have been inside unless you left it for really, really long steps, which, you don't want to do. But I have a feeling that's what it was. I have a feeling next time, I'm going to wire it down. Not on the edges, because it mightn't get a good thing, but just, a hole there and a hole there, just a thin piece of wire through, twist it together, and keep them together. That way grain can't get through. Try and get it all straight so it sits nice in the bottom of the pipe. I reckon that was it. It's the only common sense thing that it could have been. At the time I was panicking, didn't think, but I couldn't have done anything about it anyway. I still would have had to empty the mash out and clean this out. Anyway, that's about it. I'll keep you updated on how this beer goes. I don't think the competition's in about 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to bottle condition it. I'm going to have to keg condition it and keg it at about 10 days, carb it in a couple of days, and bottle from the keg. I don't think there's any other way I'm going to be able to get it into the competition. And that's if everything, if it doesn't, we shouldn't get infected. God, here we go. I've never had an infected batch of beer. Should I say that? I shouldn't say that on video. Oh, God. Anyway, cheers. The next brew, I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it to the maximum. I'm going to do a multi-step brew using Red X, a really good way of brewing it. 100% Red X, and doing step brew thanks to Martin from National Home Brews Instructions. He promises me it's the best way to do it. Anyway, cheers, and good luck with your brews. I didn't mention the hop bag falling in. Did I mention I've done at least 30 or 40 brews in the Robo 1, dozens in the Robo 2. Didn't mention I kicked over me glass of ice water. Jeez.